What's up, guys? Mount Vernon Kid here, coming to you again. How's everybody doing out there? Back again. This is episode, what, 52? Yeah, my comic review. For all the guys who stuck around since the pilot of my reviews, I thank you very much. And transition it over to this channel, I thank you again. Um, this week, won't no shout outs because everybody gets a shout out this week. Everybody, all my subscribers and friends, my bros, and of course, you know who. He's in my he's in the opening, of course. And speaking of my mentor Blue Gum, I gotta um wow, you know, seriously, your Earth 2 counterpart, boy, what a douche. I mean, sit down, shut up. Wow, he actually said, and I thought Hurricane Chris was bad. All I feel from Hurricane Chris is he just got a foul mouth. Other than that, he's pretty much mellow. You know, he gets along with everybody. Um, but if you piss him off, yeah, then that's where you feel the wrath. You're going to get brushed down by the hurricane. And I fear that if I let him do the reviews, then there's going to be a problem. There's going to be a real problem. But yeah, Earth 2 Ed Gabi is. I don't really suggest you let him talk a lot. Let him keep the Earth 2 book. That's it. Technically, yeah. I don't care what kind of technical crap he goes on and says about, well, you know, World's Finest is actually the Earth 2 counterpart. So no. You do that, Sensei. Let him do, you know, Earth 2. Okay? That's how. If you want to hear from your student, there you go. So let's move on to the books, okay? All right. As always, we're still in May, and I still haven't changed the lineup of how I present the books. Every month I change up the lineup of how I present my books. And still we're doing DC independent, then Marvel, saving it off, ending off. So we kick it off with DC, and the first book, of course, is none other than Aquaman #9, The Hunt for Black Manta. Oh boy, you can understand why I say this is probably far the best, in my opinion, the best out of the New 52 books. Um, Jeff Johns, Ivan Reyes' artwork is just superb. Jeff Johns, I don't understand, and I think people can understand where I'm coming from. How is it he can make Aquaman so cool and everything in this book, but when it comes to his Justice League, he falls flat. And like I said before, if it wasn't for a certain character that is in that book, I would drop it off my pull list. But I'm because of that character, he kind of stays on my pull list. But the Hunt for Black Manta, yes. So we get to see the prisoner of war again in this book. Black Manta tackles him first, and just like my mentor said, Black Prisoner of War's powers are really cool. I do like his powers. It's really cool. Um, and then of course we go into the Amazon and we see Manta. We see Arthur and Tiara. I think that's her name. I'm forgetting her name too. Fighting some individuals that work for Manta, and she does some things in here that just is like, Jesus Christ, don't screw with this woman. Um, and I think she even tries to make a move on Arthur again, but he even says, "I'm taken," and then she says, "Boy, you have changed." It was like, okay. And then yeah, we get to see a little bit more of Arthur's past and how that I'm forgetting the doctor's name plays a little bit into it. But yeah, it's the ending that really, and I don't want to spoil that. Just like how Mentor said, I'm not going to spoil that. What there is between Manta and Arthur Aquaman. This was just really good, good stuff. I can't wait to see the issue 10. All right, next up, Batman: The Dark Knight, #9. Finally, the Dark Knight books enter into the Night of the Owls. Jude Winnick, David Finch, one of my favorite artists. Uh, don't let that cover fool you. You know, we don't see Red Robin until like the end of the book. But this mainly is about um don't mind the background music. Me and my bro are watching something, so don't mind that. um we get to see kind of what this Talon is all about and where he comes from. And this was really interesting to see that there's there are some Talons that actually have, kind of some qualms, some kind of, they kind of feel like they're not that good. And this is what we get in this one. This was really interesting indeed. So I was really impressed at this. This was really good to kind of see that they're not all Terminator-like characters that don't give a damn. They're unstoppable. They could just do what they want and nothing like that. I was kind of glad to see that some of them have a retrospect of, am I good, or is this right, or am I do I have what it takes to be Talon, especially after some of the failures I've had. Yeah, it's good. Next up, Flash number 9. Just like Francis Manipool, I tip my hat to you again, sir. You have been killing it on Flash. More than Jeff Johns. Um, and we get the introduction of the 52 version of Grodd, Gorilla Grodd. Yes. Um, and Gorilla Grodd in this is, I would say, almost like a bloodthirsty ape, I guess. I can't think of anything else. He really Flash comes on into Gorilla City, and he just is already the rest of the residents of Gorilla City are like, he came in a bolt of light, so that must mean he's the messenger that we've been looking for. Grodd's like, I'm gonna eat him. I'm like, holy shit! And for some reason, Barry has lost it. He doesn't remember who he is for some reason. And we also get the picture of where Iris and West and all. They're still Iris, West, and all of some of the other citizens are still in the Speed Force. And all of a sudden, basically it says that means. What Grodd wants, he takes, because that's exactly what he does. Grodd just shows like, you may be people of Gorilla City, but I don't give a damn about you. And, he just goes on. They put Hal. They put Barry in prison to see what they're gonna do with him. And Grodd is like, fuck that, I'm gonna get this guy. And he just goes in and starts breaking citizens of Gorilla City's necks. He starts doing this. And right soon as that started, when that heartwhelming, dire need of, okay, what do I do? He's gonna kill me. All of a sudden, Barry gets his memory back. I know exactly who I am. I'm the Flash. I'm the fastest man in the world. And then he just is able to move out of the way, no problem. And I was a little like, huh? Like, okay, that's really nonchalant and really serious. But other than that, it was really good. There's more to it than that, but I don't want to spoil any more. But to come, the weather wizard is coming in the next issue, and I can't wait to see what they do with him. Another one of the rogues. But yeah, it was good to see Gorilla Grodd. It really was. It was really good. They made him badass. Francis Manipool, you, like I said, hats off to you, bro. Very good. All right, moving on. Anybody who watched my comic book special, I was able to get the first 8 issues of this series. Now I'm caught up, and now it's a part of my pull list. Fury Firestorm, the Nuclear Men. This is number 9. This actually has the JLI in it, because this continues where this started off in the JLI, and then it continues in this book. Firehawk, I'm really liking that girl. That girl is really cool. But Jason in this book, he's still dealing with what's going on. The Eiffel Tower is falling, and he's trying to transmutate it and things like that. The JLI come on the scene and attack him, and it was really weird. And just like it was really weird for August General and Iron. I'm always getting his name mixed up. To attack first. He's usually the one that always is more like, okay, let's see what goes on first. Then he doesn't fist not first, basically. But it was really good. It was still good. Omac really has a big scene in this, which was okay. And then we also get to see what's going on with Ronnie, on his side of the end, what he's up to, and it's getting a little bit dire for Ronnie, Ronnie Raymond. But mostly this took place in Paris and what was going on there. And but Firehawk here is really cool. Um, they kind of even talk about maybe adding her into the JLI. I don't know why, because they're fucking canceling that book. Um, it was really good. Otherwise, Van Shriver does a good job, like I said. But you know, call me a Gail Simone fanboy you want, but I wish she was still co-writing this book. But it was still good nonetheless. All right, moving on to Green Lantern: New Guardians. The Invaded by the Reach. Yes, the homeworld of the Blue Lanterns. Tony Bedard and Tyler Kirkman. The homeworld of Blue Lantern. Or Diamond. I hope Diamond. I think that's how you say the name. Correct me, guys. Um, is invaded by the Reach. The basically what the armors of the Blue Beetle are. They invade the Blue Lanterns' homeworld, and if you weren't a fan of Saint Walker, this book really puts a little bit more of that that stick. Like, yeah, go Saint Walker. He takes charge in this book really, really well. Um, really takes charge for the new Blue Lanterns as well as the old Blue Lanterns. His fellow brother and sisters. That's what they call each other. I like the oath of the Blue Lantern Corps. It's really cool. Um, Matter of fact, I think I'll even pronounce it because I don't know it by heart, guys. So let me just remember it again, if you don't mind. Um, it's really cool. I like it. In fearful day, in raging night, with strong hearts full, our souls unite. When all seems lost in the war of light, look to the stars hopes for hope burns bright. I like that. That's pretty cool. I like that. Their oath is really cool. But yeah, the Reach comes, guys, and they just start wrecking havoc. Um, they talk about how the Lanterns, a lot of the other corps are being swiped out and things like that, and everything like that. And basically, Saint Walker takes charge, but he needs help, and he starts to call out to his friends like that. Kyle is calling out to people too, like he's telling his ring, get in touch with the Star Sapphire Fatale and Acro. Arkillo and people like that, and the ring's like, it can't do that, and then he's like, damn it, I know you can't do it, and then he finally gets in there, and we got to get to them. So yeah, it's not looking so good for the Blue Lanterns, and I'm hoping that video that my bro Deadpoolzilla put up, talking about, is this the end of the other Lantern Corps, or just pretty much, I hope that doesn't come true, because some of the Lantern Corps are really good, and it would be really a shame. It's like, why did you do it in the first place? That's the way I'm looking at it. Why kill them off now? Why kill them off if you're going to kill them off? Why'd you do it in the first place? Why'd you make all those other Corps then? You see, that's just me. But Green Lantern Corps New Guardian was still good. All right, next up, um, Superman, number 9, Dan Jurgens, Keith Griffin. Um, and basically, the title of this is, "In Saving the Sub, He's doomed the world." Okay, so for some reason, basically, you see Soups basically saving a Russian submarine, and lo and behold, the troops of the sailors of the submarine are like, really like, okay, if he saves us, that's good, but let's hope he doesn't do anything more. He saves us, and then he goes away like the Lone Ranger. And I'm like, okay, what the hell? Like, That's not how Superman works. You know he's gonna see if you guys are okay. So once he saves the sub, he opens the latch, sees everybody. They come out like, okay, get away from us and things like that. All of a sudden, a full armada chopper crew comes along and ready to like attack Superman, and you're like, oh, huh, what, yo, what is going on here? And Superman just flies away. He's like, oh, fine, you're welcome though. And um, basically after that, he comes back, and that's where everything starts going really kind of kooky. Like people now are starting to wonder who Superman is, like his secret identity. You know, um, Lois has a big deal with Clark about kind of standing up her sister, leaving her at the train station, and Clark's like, "Look, I didn't even hear what you said. Like, you just forced me into doing that. I didn't say I would do it," and things like that. And all of a sudden we got this woman who seems to be she can go transparent, and she's stealing something from this vault. And when Superman comes on the scene, it's like he can't touch her, but she can touch him. And he once again, I love this. I always love where they always Superman is always like he gets hit, and all of a sudden the look of like surprise on his face, like I felt that. Like I love that. I think that is so funny to me. Every time they pull that off, I find that so funny. That is really funny. But yeah, it really ends there, and then it ends with a shocking development. But I don't want to spoil that for you guys. But other than that, it was Dan Jurgens. It's okay. It's not bad. I know a lot of people are not really on the Superman no more, but this has always been the Superman title I've read since reading DC Comics. I've never read. I wasn't really a big action fan or action comics or Man of Steel. I was always just a self-titled Superman book. So, like I said, when I got back, when they relaunched everything, I always said I was just going to stick to what I read. That's me. That's just me. All right. The end, the conclusion of the culling in Teen Titans number 9, Scott Liddell. Okay, and first of all, I'd like to give thanks to all those individuals out there who actually kept me informed on the other parts, part 2 and part 3. So thank you guys very much for doing that. I appreciate that so much. Thank you, my fellow geeks. Thank you very much. Bro hug, fist pound too. Bam. There you go. um, so we get to see what's to come. I mean, I like Harvest. This guy is a badass. This guy is seriously a badass. And we got the Titans going at him, and it's like he's almost like one step ahead of them at every turn. We also get to see um Fairchild, Caitlin Fairchild in this, getting all the other kids that nowhere had kidnapped out of everywhere, and so we're getting to see where the Ravengers are going to be, and I can't wait till that comes out this week. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the Ravengers do. Um, but yeah, this was good. This was really good. You really had to feel for Tim in this. He vowed that he would stop Harvest, and when he's like, "No, I gotta stop," and Cassie grabs him back and is like, "No, we stick together." And you really see the team really now really getting behind Tim, and like you got a lot of them saying, "We'll follow you into hell, Tim. We're with you all the way." And I'm like, okay, that's what's up. Tim is a hell of a leader, and we're starting to see that in this book. Um, and then they did succeed in the way what they wanted. They wanted to shut down Nowhere, and that's what Kid Flash even says. I call that a win. We got to win. So let Harvest get away. He gets away, guys. Harvest does get away. I'll spoil that for you, but Harvest is a badass, really badass character, and I'm hoping that he. It seems that they might make him, Scott Liddell and them will probably make him the main Teen Titan villain now. He'll he'll probably be like the Deathstroke or so now of yeah of this this Teen Titan group. But it was good. Now we'll see what comes out after this, as well as we know the Ravengers are going to come out of this book, and I can't wait to see how Katie Fairchild is going to win, because remember, she used to work for Nowhere, and a lot of the members of that team don't know if they can trust her or not. We see it in this book. They're like, we can't really know if we should trust you or Ridge. That big salamander like creature that's also on the team, that lizard like guy, who used to work for Nowhere too. So there's kind of like, should we trust you or not? But yeah, it was good nonetheless. Teen Titans #9. All right, so we move on to Independent, and we're going into the independent world of Dynamite and IDW. So let's kick it off with Dynamite. Starting off with the Bionic Man #9. Yeah, Kevin Smith, Phil Hester, Jonathan Lau does the artwork. His artwork is really good. I like Jonathan Lau's artwork. #9. So we left off where the villainous Bionic Man known as Hull, who is the predecessor of Steve Austin. No relation to Stone Cold Steve Austin. Yeah. He is basically trapped, and we're thinking, oh, this is no problem. The Bionic Man can get out of this, no problem. However, it's like, as much as Steve tries to break out of it, it's like a kinetic barrier. It hits him back with just enough force that's breaking him out of it. So Steve has to use his help. And besides that, the place that he's in, the mountain prison that he's in, it's going to be blown up by a nuke. Hull set it to blow up, and Hull even said, "I don't even think you can survive this." And so it's really a fact of, okay, Steve's got to get out of here, and get out of here quick. So he has to use his head. And you got Hull, who's just watching the whole thing, and he's like saying, Steve, it's useless. You can't do it. And Steve's like, man, fuck you. You're not me. So what does Steve does? He literally breaks off one of his own bionic fingers, breaks it off and throws it, and it causes it to short circuit at the machine that's keeping the cage from keeping him in. And he breaks out, and he has to run really fast to get to his ship, his rendezvous space aircraft, to get him out of there. And he gets out. I will say that. But in the meantime, Hull is just a really badass character. He sets off these sonic devices in Washington D.C. He causes havoc in Washington D.C. He has like these. It's like little parachutes of sonic devices, and you know what they're doing? You actually see them blowing people's eardrums apart. Like, you see people's eardrums, like, boom, just bursting, and it's just so gruesome. It's like, oh man. And Hull's doing this for just a diabolical reason. He's just one of those diabolical villains you have to hate. And Steve comes, and he has an army of bionic men that he created. So it's like, oh God, like, and you know what a bionic man can take. I mean, we've seen Steve take tank fire, full straight up, not from a distance, at a distance, and then straight up, and didn't even hurt him, didn't phase him. So you got all the army of bionic men wreaking havoc in Washington D.C. and no one to help except one man, Steve Austin. And that's where it pretty much ends, with him coming back into the fray. But yeah, Kevin Smith has been doing really good on this. I got to give it to him. For all those who are not on Bionic Man, you're saying, oh man, that's something my father or parents used to watch. I thought it was cheap and crappy, but he's given a real reason to. Dynamite has been doing a very good job in reinventing these classic characters, and here's one of them, very much. And speaking of reinventing classic characters, Green Hornet #25. This still continues the story arc that's been going on. Man, talk about. There's a reason why I can never really see myself in politics now, because, man, in this book we gotta see the dark side of politics to make sure he gets sworn in or get the sway of the people of Century City to make him the new mayor. He frames this guy framed, I'm forgetting the mayor, the candidate, frames the Green Hornet. He has a guy, ex-con, dress up like Green Hornet and go around killing people. Frame job. The classic frame job. We all know that. But it's once again, it's how you tell it that makes it good. And it was good. Britt Reed Jr. finds him, and they have a battle. Britt is not really going to let this stand, because not only this is him trying to protect the city. He's done a job. This is his legacy. This is his dad's legacy. His dad was the first Green Hornet. He's now the Green Hornet. He's taking up the legacy. So he's not going to let anybody screw around with that. And it gets really bad. We're starting to see corrupt cops involved in this. It gets really deep. And that's all I'm going to say, because it really was really good. I don't want to spoil it. Phil Hester, I believe, is the writer on this one. He does a good job of just how further is the corruption in this. That's the way I look at it. And it's pretty much coming to an end. So yeah, if you heard what my bro just said, corruption holds deep in the veins. But yeah, this was good. This was really good. All right. So once again, another book that I say, Dynamite is really reinventing for a new generation. Lord of the Jungle annual #1. Yeah, they already done an annual already after 3 or 4 issues. All right. So, all right. The writer on this, I believe his name is Rana. Pretty good. But once again, this annual takes place before or after the 8th issue of Lord of the Jungles, and they haven't even gotten up to 8. So I thought that's why I said it. I think this is really weird that this came out so soon. But basically, Tarzan is in the jungle, just relaxing. He sees a fellow fellow lion cub known as Nuka that he named, and he's like, what are you doing so far away from your mother and father and things like that, and okay, come on, let's go get something to eat. And he talks about how lonely he is since Jane Porter went back home and everything like that, and that was really kind of interesting. Right there, it kind of gave us a clue that Jane doesn't stay with Tarzan. But he even says that he's glad she didn't, because he doesn't think the life that he lives, is ready for her. Then he goes on to say, let's go get some eat, and eat it the right way, and not the way that those men make it, cooking it and stuff like that. I was like, oh shit, that was kind of funny. He said, eat it raw. Eat it raw, not cooked. You're taking the essence of the food. And also, he gets captured by some men. So basically, Tarzan gets captured and he's brought to the civilized world, New York. And he's talking to this man called Skypes. And he's talking about how, you're going to do this and everything like that. And, can you understand me? And, Tarzan like, yeah, I can understand you fine. If you want me to speak French to you, I'll speak French too. And so he's like, you save your strength because you're going to need it. And so here's a book. You can read it too. And what's the book? The Jungle Book. And Tarzan says, no thanks. I see what you're trying to do. The guy says, I know you're probably homesick, but he says, well, I don't want this book, Skype, because first of all, I've read it before, and it's about India, and this is not Africa, but you're a continent off, though. And he just throws the book right back at her. I was like, that was a good one, Tarzan. Really good. But bottom line is, it's basically Tarzan in almost a uh, late 19th century underground fighting ring. And I guess you could kind of say MMA, because it's full contact. And Tarzan is looking at this guy who is this big German hand-to-hand fighter, and he's like, I don't do this I don't fight for sport. I don't do that. I only fight to survive. And he's like, we don't have to do this. We could walk away, and everything like that. And the bell rings, and the guy comes out punching Tarzan and gives him a nice thrust kick, and Tarzan goes in the back. And he's, Tarzan, first he's like, all right, like then he gets kicked again, and you just see the anger, like it's like motherfucker, you lost your mind, and then he just Tarzan just goes berserk on this guy, and you know what? I can't even. You know what? For me, describing it is one thing, seeing it is another thing. Okay, once again, here's what we're gonna show you. Watch this. All right. Okay. Here we go. Here's the first part. We got Tarzan. The guy grabs Tarzan, tosses Tarzan. Tarzan shows his face right here. You see it? Look at his face, if you can see it. Then the suck. Next you know, he thrust kicks Tarzan once again in the back, and he's ready to fight. Tarzan's like, motherfucker. And then look at what Tarzan does to this guy. Rips his throat out. Hardcore. And just stands over him like, now what? Like, yeah. Like they said, they were right about this. This Tarzan is a little bit darker, a little bit grittier than what the great Edgar Rice Burroughs wrote in his book, Tarzan of the Apes. It's a good book too. Read it. But yeah, Lord of the Jungle was really good. It's really funny because after that, the lady he gets some help from an unexpected help to get him back to Africa. But other than that, Tarzan kind of loved his experience in New York. It was kind of fun. He said it was kind of fun. But yeah, he just rips in that guy seriously, no quims about it. I was like, damn, like oh my god. All right, so that's all the Dynamite. Let's move on to IDW. And Transformers Robot More Than Meets the Eyes. This is issue number 5. All right. Back Rodimus's group has been really having a lot of problems lately. Ever since their ship crash landed on this remote planet, they've been dealing with uh, cybernetic creatures that eat sparks. They don't call them spark eaters in this. They been dealing with a lot of things. Now we deal with a virus is on board, and basically it was it was showcased. It was basically executed by one of Rodimus's crew, who was actually once a former Decepticon. And once again, I'm like, damn, that whole saying is coming true now. Once a Decepticon, always a Decepticon. The Decepticon's name is Pharma, I believe, and he's a part of Ratchet's first aid crew. And he pretty much sets a virus on board that pretty much it rusts Cybertronians from the outside, and but keeps their vital organs and stuff like that intact. And he gets Ratchet, and basically what he does is the guy Pharma is basically he's going to harvest organs, Cybertronian organs for the DJD. I think that stands for Decepticon. Oh, man, what's that stand for again? It's in the book. They kind of give it what it says for. But he tries to harvest them. And Ratchet kind of helps out. Not only that, guys, we get the likes of a former Autobot that was, kind of in a coma. His name is Fortress Magnus. He comes out of a coma and he ain't too happy about it. But I'm trying to find where it is. I apologize, guys. Okay, here it is. He the DJD stands for Decepticon Justice Division. So he's harvesting Cybertronian, you know, uh, limbs and organs and stuff like that. I can't believe they said organs, because they're robots. But for them, and it's kind of crazy. But kind of, does Ratchet die? Of course not. No, he doesn't die. Does he get saved? Yes. What happens to Pharma though? Um, I don't want to spoil, but it was still good. But like I said, Rodimus's group is having a lot of problems lately, but it was still good. Robinson's does a he knows Transformers. He does. And for this is like I said, for all my Transformers fans out there that aren't reading, get on board. You'll love it. I'm telling you, you will. I promise you that. So that's all independent. Now we move on to Marvel. We'll end it with Marvel, and I have 8 Marvel books to cover for you. We'll kick it off with the world's greatest superhero, and I don't have a problem saying that either. um, Amazing Spider-Man, number 686. Yes, he's just a few more away from reaching 700. I can't wait. Um, Dan Slott Castillo is on the book. This is the almost the end of Ends of the Earth. This Ends of the Earth has been really good. This has been a really good story arc. I've been loving it. And man, what it looked like what happened in the last book was Doc Ock destroyed Silver Sable's country known as Carcria. I believe that's what it's called. Um, and it really gets bad. And Spidey's like, you know what, I did. This is my fault. You know that he's getting to that self-doubting, like I can't once again, and then he's going in, but I can't let anybody die. So he's going in and saving people as much. And Black Widow comes and says, Spider-Man, we got to go. And he's like, damn you, Natasha, and your cold-hearted self. We got to save these people. And she's like, there's no use and everything like that. And then, things starts going to fruition. And then all of a sudden, Spidey starts saying, now, wait a minute. Wait a minute. The buildings are, I don't see any kind of scorch marks on the building, everything like that. This has got to be a trick. Yeah, and who do we know from the Rogues Gallery is good at illusions? Yeah. I'm not even going to spoil it, but you should already know who's one of his Spidey's rogues that's good with that. But it was still good. Other than that, we also get to see Spidey turning one of the Sinister Six, and which was really good, and basically taking down another Sinister Six. And what was really good was how they kind of like got information out of that Sinister Six member. Widow basically said to the person, I know who you are. I know about this. I know what happened to your face. You want me to tell the Kravinoff family? Yeah, I'm giving you clues right now who I'm talking about. Want me to tell the Kravinoff family what you did and everything like that? And he just starts spilling his beans like, okay. But it's the really at the end of the book that, they go to Guatemala to help out and to figure out what's going on. And, you know, he's like, yeah, you know, I got you now 6 down, 3, only 2 more, only you and the Rhino left. I'm coming after you now. And next Doc Ock's like, on the contrary, Web Slinger, I still have an ace up their sleeve. And what do they show? They show like this new version of the Sinister Six in a way. Um, and basically, Spidey once again is like, oh God, oh God, now what am I to do? But yeah, it's been really good, man. Ends of the Earth, really good. One more issue. But good job, Dan Slott. Thumbs up, bro. Like I said before, I have no qualms of saying greatest superhero in the world. I'm sorry. Yeah, call me a Spidey fanboy all you want. Okay. Next up, Astonishing X-Men number 50. Margaret Liu is on this book. Yeah. This is the beginning of we get to see North Star propose to his boyfriend, Kyle. Um, but should I spoil? Does it go well for Kyle? Goes well for Pierre? I mean John Paul. There we go, John Paul. Don't want to spoil that for you. But in the meantime, Wolvie. Wow, it's been a long time since I said Wolvie. Wolvie and Logan in the group are Still looking for what happened to the Marauders and everything like that, and who's controlling them. They get a little. He gets a little help from Black Widow, and it was really funny. Black Widow chose the place to meet her at, and he meets her in this very quaint, like socialite tea house place in downtown Manhattan. Um, and he's like, and she's like, I always do that for a reason, just to look on your face, because you know you're so out of place down here. And you see Logan sipping some tea, and he's like, oh God, blood, I got a beer. Where's my beer? Like something like that, which is really funny. And then all of a sudden, Warbird comes in, and she's like, Logan, I can't stand waiting in your car. And it's funny because Black Widow looks at Warbird's outfit, and she's like, "Oh my God! Like I don't even think I could pull that off and fight in that." I thought that was funny. I think that only came up from Miss Lou to come up with that, because if you look at Warbird's outfit, it looks like what is keeping her boobs in in from this plot falling out. You know, Shi'ar, you gotta love them. But this was still good. Very good indeed. Um, it really ends kind of on a cliffhanger, especially for North Star, because what he's got to deal with now, and it also gets at who is controlling the the Marauders and everything like that. But it's still been good. Margaret Liu has been doing a fantastic job in my opinion on Astonishing X-Men. Like I said, I give her a lot because she's pretty much the only female writer at Marvel that's writing an ongoing book, and I've been loving her run so far. Because I fell off of Astonishing X-Men since I think issue number 34, and I stopped reading it until once I heard she was going to be back. She was taking over. I was like, okay, let me pick back up on it, because I did like her X-23 run. I've read it. Don't have it in my collection, but I've read it, and I thought it was really good. Okay, so we move on to Captain America number 12. Brubaker. You know, I don't even have to say what I have to say about Brubaker. Um, this is part 2 of Shock to the System story arc that's going on. We're still getting in depth into the new Scourge, as well as who's been leaking information to the new Scourge about the villains that are former villains or so that are in WITSEC, in the Witness Protection Program. And believe it or not, that villain, that person is none other than Henry Peter Gyrick. Yes, indeed. He's doing it. He's leaking information to Scourge, and it's all a ploy by Agent Bravo that we've seen in the first 6 issues or so, and the Queen Hydra. But however, Henry Peter Gyrick is a patriot through and through. He would die for his country, and that's why it makes it so hard for Cap to believe that. Even though he's been fired from his position, he knows that Gyrick wouldn't do this. So he knows Gyrick's being controlled somehow. But yeah, it was really good. We get to see the new Scourge try to go after another member of the Serpent Society. And it was really good. And we get to see who this new Scourge is. And I don't think a lot of people are reading Captain America, I'm going to spoil who it is. So I will give you about 10 seconds to put the mute button on so you don't have to hear this. So I'm counting down as right now. 10 seconds. Okay, so if you did, here is the new Scourge is none other than the once Avenger, once good old friend of Captain America, ex-wrestler with superhuman strength, known as the Demolition Man. Yes, indeed. They show his face at the end. And I was like, whoa, I can't believe, wow, Brubaker, you bringing back the Demolition Man. Last time we saw the Demolition Man, he was in the Avengers Annual with Wonder Man with his Re-Avengers. But yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed this. It does make you wonder what's Cap gonna do, and it was really good to see Cap and Dum Dum Dugan working together. Really good. But yeah, it was good. This was really good. Cap and Brubaker, no slouch at writing Cap at all. All right. World's greatest comic book magazine, Fantastic Four number 606. Uh, Jonathan Hickman, Rick Grady is the artist on this. This is just a one shot. The Fantastic Four in I think somebody's body actually. They're shrunk down in a body to save this person's life. It was good. It was just a standard issue, nothing big, nothing fancy, but I will agree on what my mentor said. Sue looked it way over her age in this. My bro said she looked like a school teacher with her hair all in a bonnet and stuff like that. I'm like, damn, that don't look like Sue. I agree with that. Um, and as for as for uh as for them putting thing back in his nutty huggers, his tidy whities, his spandex, his it was kind of really kind of funny. It looked weird on him again. I thought they would stick with his old fashioned look, but I do like the new Fantastic Four costume. Now they're going with the white, kind of representing now the Future Foundation as well, but they still got the four crests in the middle, which is cool. But yeah, this is a standard issue, nothing big, nothing fancy, just a standard issue adventure with the first family. That's all. Um, Journey into the Mystery. This is 638. This is still the story between um, the New Mutants and Journey into Mystery. This is part 4 or 5. Um, and the Asgardians have lost their memory. They don't know. They're human now. Some don't believe that they're gods. And things like that. We also get to see Danny Moonstar once become a Valkyrie again. She was working for Hela. She under Hela's rule and things like that. This was really because I'm not reading New Mutants, so I'm trying to figure out what's going on from the cliff notes and everything like that. But other than that, it was okay. Gillian still does a pretty decent job on this book. But yeah, it's kind of, you got to be reading New Mutants to really understand that. And unfortunately, I'm not reading New Mutants. Even though I have characters on there that I love, but you know, um, eh, it's okay. But this was okay. Yeah. All right. And 3 more to go. Oh boy. Oh my God. Um, Mighty Thor number 14, Matt Fraction. The Enchantress is back. Amara is back. And remember, I told you how she was listening to what Donald Blake was talking about. He wants to be back with Thor and everything like that. Talk about taking that to the extreme. Yes, indeed. Um, the Enchantress goes and just does something in here that was just like, you just want to say, you bitch. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Um, she gives Donald Blake an apple, a golden apple. It's supposed to be the food of the gods, and only gods can eat it. And Donald Blake, what really makes it bad is like Donald Blake is so gullible, and he's like, it's like, dude, this is the Enchantress. If she's doing something, she's for you. She ain't doing it for you. She's doing it for herself. And we just see what she does to this poor Donald Blake. Very bad. It is very sad in this book. I'm sorry. That's the way to color. And there's more in this, but that's the main story of what's going on in this. It was just poor Donald Blake. You know, look at him. Look at him on her leg like a little lost puppy. Like, give me a break. The hell, man. um, Next up, uh, Secret Avengers number 27. Rick Remender. This still is in the beginning. Still ties into Avengers versus X-Men. The story of this takes place. It says it takes place before Avengers 26 and 27. So bottom line is the Kree, which had power, basically was able to resurrect Captain Marvel back to life, with the power of the Phoenix. And for some reason, he's not himself because he doesn't even remember some of the people he starts attacking. He starts attacking all the other, you know, Beast and Thor and War Machine and all those people like that. He knew. But really what makes it weird is the fact that Ms. Marvel and Protector are with him. It was weird seeing Carol smack around Beast and Valkyrie. I'm like, what the hell are you doing, Carol? And she's kissing all over him and stuff. I know, yeah, they had a relationship sometime, but I'm like, God damn it, like, what the hell? And we get a fight between Thor, who is still kind of wounded from his battle with the Phoenix. And that's kind of my gist of the only reason why Captain Marvel was able to beat him. Okay. Um, but Yeah, it was really weird. I mean, it was kind of weird. I was bugged out just seeing Carol just knocking around some of the people, Vision and all of them, and basically the Phoenix is coming to the home city of the Kree, known as Hala. Yeah, Hala. But yeah, this is really interesting, indeed. Um, this right here is I believe this is Scott Eaton's artwork right here on the cover, but it's not done by Scott Eaton. The interior artwork, it's somebody, I think, Britt Britt Weiser. I think that's who does it. But this was interesting, very interesting indeed, and it really makes me wonder what the hell is going to happen for the planet, the Kree, especially with the Phoenix coming. Yeah, it's I don't think it's going to look good for Hala. But what really is interesting is the cover of the next issue. It seems like Ms. Marvel gets her binary powers back again. And we all know when she's in her binary mode, she was at her strongest. Um, but I wonder if this is still going to tie more into when she gets promoted to Captain Marvel soon. Yeah. But yeah, it was not bad. And I'm going a little bit over time. I apologize, guys, but there were some things I wanted to talk about. Um, so I hope you're still with me. One more, just got one more, guys. Bear with me. Uh, Ultimate Comics X-Men, number 12, really fast. Nick Spencer, we brings us into what's been going on with Havoc of the Ultimate Year. Havoc, Alex, has been in a mental institution. And not only has he been in a mental institution, he's been seeing his brother Scott in like like a person not really there. Only he could see him. Um, and that's kind of weird. It's like, man, like he must have had a nervous breakdown because yes, Scott's dead. Scott's not alive anymore. Remember, he died during Ultimatum, I believe. I can't remember. So it's really weird. And Alex is in, this mental. He's got a straight jacket on, and he's people coming in and giving him meds and stuff like that. Lo and behold, we got somebody coming in to see him, and when you see this guy, you basically wither and die. And pretty much it sets up who is coming back. And without spoiling too much, I mean, we all should know. I think I'll spoil that for you. Is Apocalypse is coming back, and he's got the servant of Mr. Sinister, I believe. It could be Mr. Sinister, or it could be somebody else becoming the new Mr. Sinister. Because I heard, it's Mr. Sinister because he said Nathaniel Essex. Get it? So yeah, Mr. Sinister and Apocalypse are coming back. But yeah, it was really sad to see Alex my favorite of the Summers brothers in a mental institution, a psychiatric ward. Really weird. But other than that, I hope you guys stuck around with me for 55 minutes. I'm sorry. But other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed what I was able to deliver to you. You guys tell me what you thought. I will see you next week, as always, as I say, God willing. And this is Mount Vernon Kid. Once again, y'all take care.